name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, is he who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, is he who has made time, the seed of the universe. He's known among the ancient Kemites as Amun-Ra and Atu. He's known among the Hebrews as Ansaf, Yahweh and Elohim. He's known among the Christians as Lord God and Jehovah, and among the Muslim or the Islamic world as Allah, one God. He's known among the Rastafarians as Jah Rastafari. I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one Almighty God. It is to that one Almighty God whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I further more boldly proclaim that we, the sons and daughters of those men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the 13th tribe born right here in North America, and we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I furthermore boldly proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the planet Earth flow through our veins. I greet you, my brothers and my sisters, in the ancient but yet holy words of peace, which are Hotep. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Habar Alafia. And Asher. I want always the honor and the privilege to do God's will and stand as a vehicle, a speaker that he may use in order to deliver a message, a warning, instructions to us, his children. I greet you all in peace. Once again, I thank you for coming to the Temple of Mercy Association located here on the south side in Inglewood, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
We're proud of Inglewood. We're not going to let nobody try to make us believe that Inglewood is bad. We know, after the day, you're going to know why they want to make Inglewood look so bad.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters, it's getting warm.
Yes.
And there's some crazy stuff going on in this world.
Yes, indeed.
That's why I've gone on a 360-day news fast. I am not going to watch that garbage. I refuse to look at it because whether we want to accept it or not, there's a lot of things that are going on that is beyond our understanding and our knowledge. And most of it is, if you ever seen a magic trick or a magic show, The Magician, sleight of hand, misdirection, see what you don't see, make you see what they want you to see.
Yes.
These kind of illusions, these are the people that we are dealing with. Illusionists and magicians. In the biblical terms, they call them magi's. Those were the people that were with Pharaoh. He relied on them in order that they may be able to read the stars, and they were the astrologers and things of that nature. But brothers and sisters, Minister Raheem has given out a call. He said that God had revealed to him that there was going to be so many diversions out here that he wants us to stay the course.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to be, every time somebody gets shot, we're not going to be running out here praying.
Right.
Stay the course. And what is that course, brothers and sisters? That course is the rehabilitation and the reforming and reshaping of our black minds. Because black people are going crazy today. We said it last week. We touched on it. But before this month is over, I'm going to even teach on mental illness. Because it's permanent. Not permanent, but it's permeating our community. And but before I get started, I just wanted to emphasize that God gave me this course, Life 101. And now I'm noticing that a lot of people have caught wind, and everybody's coming up with some kind of life course. The Nation has one. I heard of another group, I can't remember their names, that's initiating one. I'm not saying that to say, to initiate some kind of bragging rights, as if I was the first one, because I understand that God is the initiator of all of this, and that if he gave me a message, I'm sure I'm not the only one that he gives messages to. So I don't look at that as a threat. Actually, it's really a blessing because our people need it. And I'm only saying that to say that we're going to stay the course. We are about the rehabilitation of our people. We believe and we know that we cannot establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self without incorporating the knowledge of self. We also believe that you can't rebuild a community without first building the minds of the residents of the community to meet that responsibility of maintaining that community's image. So we can gain all the money and build all the nice fine buildings all we want to, but if we got crazy people in the community, all they're going to do is tear down what you build. So you have to rebuild the minds of the people to be able to respect and honor the good things that we produce in our communities. And this is what Life 101 is all about. This is what it was created for. Many of us have are under the illusion that we are okay. That I'm straight. That's how we say it in the street. I'm straight. That I don't have those problems that those people have. But I just ask that if you straight, that you give my flyers out to some people that aren't straight. I would appreciate that. And pass it on out. And we're also embarking on taking this thing viral. Meaning that I'm in the process now of setting up, I think it's called a webcam, where it can be a live feed off over the internet every Sunday. You know, we're in the process of setting that up. We're also recording every lecture. We have, as you have in your hand, the handouts, kind of guiding me through. And the reason for all of this is because we want this to be duplicatable. We want you to be able to go home and start your own study group and help some other people with this kind of information. You know, all of my slideshow presentations. You can email me at urbanlife10155@yahoo.com, and I will email you every lecture, every handout, and every slideshow, so that you can, at home, you can be the Life 101 coach. Say again? Urban Life 10155@yahoo.com. And you can get every last one of them. Because again, and it's free. Why? God's word and his knowledge and his message and his teachings cannot be bought. You don't have enough money to pay for it. So we freely give this out, because believe it or not, it's not mine to charge for anyway. How can I charge for something that belongs to the Creator?
That's right.
So with that being said, let's get started. Today's class is based around the tree of life. Now, I've taught on the tree of life many times, but I will not be teaching in that manner today. This is going to be extremely basic. And I'm only saying that not to say that we are slow and we can't understand the other teaching. No, I'm only saying that because the challenges that we're having in our life is not deep. It's basic challenges. And the tree of life is nothing but a representation of family. How many of us in here have a family tree? Hope everybody. So, understanding family and the basic makeup of family and what family is all about and why God even made families is what we need to understand, because family is the beginning structure of government. Now, in your handouts, you'll see that I always start out the lectures with a letter. And I'd like to read that letter for you. It says, once again, we are about to embark upon a teaching that we may not have ever heard or understood in the manner in which it's about to be taught. In Masonry, we were taught that you had to be found proficient in the previous levels of knowledge in order to be able to move forward in understanding and knowledge. This means that if you are not clear in your understanding of the purpose of life, your purpose, why God made you black, and using your gifts and talents, then you will not have the foundation needed in order to receive properly this lesson. Again, this is why we make those CDs and all that available to you, so you can get caught up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you are not smart enough to understand this lesson. I'm saying that these lessons are connected one to the other, like episodes of your favorite primetime show. And I put Scandal on there because that seems to be the hottest thing going these days. I don't know. But we understand that if you miss an episode of Scandal, it clouds our understanding as to where the storyline is leading us. With that being said, let's connect the dots. We are all created to serve a purpose. That purpose is to serve our Creator, which is not our present employer. You discover that purpose by studying God's Word through two of His holy books, the Holy Bible, the original King James Version, and the Holy Quran. The stories and the life experiences of the men and women of these holy books will reveal a divine purpose for your life. But you must have a spiritual, not religious, guide to assist you in the interpretation of God's Word. Once that purpose is revealed to you, power must be given to you in order for you to be able to ward off spiritual attacks aimed at discouraging our desires to do God's will. Without true understanding of the power of the term black, we only remain powerless racial and ethnic gangbangers. Wealth is now needed in order to sustain ourselves while embarking upon life's journey. We all have gifts and talents that will assist us in that endeavor. Without purpose, power, and wealth, we will not be prepared to begin to build your legacy, your foundation, your family. All right, now let's begin. The tree of life, by definition, family, by definition, is a basic social unit consisting of parents and their children considered as a group, whether dwelling together or not. A social unit, see now understand this. Why would they say dwelling together or not? Why wouldn't your children be with you? Right. See again, this is the beginning of redefining things for us. So family, they still your family even though you're not in the house taking care of them. That's still your children, that's still your family. And this is the understanding that they want us to accept. Parents and their children. A social unit consisting of one or more adults together with the children they care for. One or more adults. Not father, mother, children, or male, female children, but just two adults. Or one or more adults. Now didn't God create two and made them one to create a family? So who's redefining God now when they say all you need is one? All you need is one parent and you're still a family. Yeah. See, something's wrong with this. And we are accepting defining definitions. The children of one person, this is again the definition of family, the children of one person or one couple collectively. The spouse and children of one person. Any group of persons closely related by blood as parents, children, uncles, aunts, and cousins. This is the definition of family that the white man wants us to accept. What does God say about all of that? A family is one which lines up with biblical principles, the Ten Commandments, and one in which each member understands and fulfills his and her God-given role. The family is not an institution designed by man. It was created by God, and man has been given the responsibility of stewardship over it. Now, the role of the husband, according to the book of Matthew, there you go. According to the book of Matthew, is to leave father and mother, leaving that relationship in favor of another. He leaves the headship of his parents to become the head of his own family. He leaves the financial support of his parents to provide for himself and his own household. You see, so this other definition that we seem to go by today, that a man leaves his wife, his mother and father to cleave to his wife, meaning now that she is the everything to him. That is not far-fetched. That's not, but the understanding of it, meaning that she becomes almost like a god to him now. And this is the interpretation that they want us to receive. This past Wednesday, we had a really good discussion on what you might want to call it, chauvinism, male chauvinism, and even feminism. Feminism, I guess that's a word. Is it? Okay. I have to look at the teacher over there. And we had a beautiful class, and it exposed a lot about us, things that we didn't know. And as we move forward, you're going to see some things, because I'm going to go into a little story, a historical thing, to show how our open enemy has deceived us, has been tricking us, and has lied to us in order to provide a certain shift in the family structure, the black family structure, not any other family, because Hispanic families are still strong and rolling. But it's only the black family that seems to be flipped upside down. Just think about it. Do you see a lot of Hispanic women? Well, you do not a lot, though. In corporate America, you see some, but there's a lot of us there. But again, my point, we have these images. It's a beautiful black woman, right?
Yes, sir.
Would you say this black woman is representing God?
No.
Yes,
Why not?
yes. She's wearing a nice, sensibly fitted dress, some cute shoes, yeah.
Say some cute shoes. What is modestly dressing? Because that's what this would be considered. Ladies, would y'all say she was modestly dressed?
Yeah.
The dress is below the knees. That's one of the main things, right?
Yeah.
How about this sister?
Nope.
Oh, man.
They've been telling her about that too.
So what's wrong with this?
She's naked.
My arm should be covered.
Her arm should be covered.
That's the only problem like this, that she needs something like her arm.
Right, because the hem is below her knee, right?
Right, that's what's gonna be, she
Well, it gets worse.
Oh,
Now, she needs a lot. She needs help.
But this is considered beauty in this society. Beautiful. They would say she was beautiful that night on the red carpet. They wouldn't say she was an abomination to God. Not at all. It gets worse.
She definitely needs help.
She's making money, I'm not mad at her.
So it's about making money now.
At least not just about a dollar. I don't think so.
God ain't paying today, so
right.
so we gonna go with the devil. He pay better. Now do you know, my son came home, this is kind of off the subject a little bit. My son came home the other day with some tan jeans, and they was ripped up like he was in a dog fight. You know, I mean, like the dog had just been gnawing all at his butt and everything, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, his sister bought those jeans for him, and she paid $60
What?
for some jeans that I used to have. My mother would whoop my butt trying to patch them holes up and everything. They went to the halfway, the thrift store, and they call them, what they call them, used. Or is it damaged? Used?
They
Damage.
had some that
Called
was
damage.
called used and damaged before.
Yeah,
Right.
it's called damage.
They bringing them back now.
Oh, really?
Things
You know.
was it thrift store?
Yeah, and the style is, the more holes, the better.
Let's see.
Now what's wrong with this? But we are accepting this. Grown men and women are accepting these type of fashions for our children and our people. Ain't no way I let my wife go out the house looking like that. But then some would say, you don't have the right. How you gonna stop her from going out how she wanna go out? Something's wrong with that too. We're gonna get into it. Look, I want to tell you guys a story. And this is where it started. Because actually, since this time, we have not had any power. In the 60s, when we were doing the civil rights movement, black people were very powerful during this time.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely. Now look at the signs. And notice the stuff that they are protesting about, we still protesting about them today. Same things. Look at this. What is that? Well, maybe not integrating school, equal rights now. What is that? End to bias.
Yes.
Decent housing.
Yes.
Same things today. And do you all notice something about this picture? More so than you have of any other civil rights pictures that you ever saw? It's a lot of women in there, ain't it?
Yes.
Women were involved in the civil rights movement.
Very good. Very good.
But look what happened. I'm on page, I think that's 39. In the 1960s, there was a movement among black people called the Civil Rights Movement, led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He fought and spoke out for sanitation workers' rights, Rosa Parks' stand against the bus system, the end of the Vietnam War, and integration of restaurants, schools, and the workplace. This movement was funded and supported by the Jewish community, by Jewish people.
Yes.
Now understand this. In history, the civil rights movement was known as a black movement.
Right.
Right.
But white people were funding it. So was it a black movement? Okay, let me just paint another picture for you. If some white people open up a grocery store across the street, and all black people went in there and shopped, and everybody that worked there were black. Is that a black grocery store?
No.
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 Why not?
It's not owned by them.
They funded it to be black.
Because the people that are benefiting from it,
It's not black.
Black people.
they weren't black.
Right.
So that means if you are not funding your own movement, if you're not funding And if you're not paying your own candidates, if you don't pay their salaries, President Obama, Alderman, if you are not signing their checks, they don't work for you.
That's right.
They don't. And so we have to really understand this. And this is why we're saying that during this time, we were being, even though everything seemed like it was black this, black that, and black power and all of this, it was funded by the Jews. And during this time, there was a rise in black consciousness now. Now this is what was dangerous. This was the dangerous part of the civil rights movement. Black consciousness was at an all-time high. What is that, really, black consciousness? Being aware of the power of your blackness. Black people were aware of this. And because of it, we were very powerful. And then organizations began to spring out. The Nation of Islam, Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, NAACP, they wasn't black, but that's okay. SNCC, were all organizations, that were active and working to address the needs of blacks in America. Black at this time, had leaders that would stand up and address our issues and our challenges with the rulers that be. We had people that were standing up. Kwame Ture. We had so many people that were fearless and didn't have any desire to sell out. Then the assassination of Dr. King, then the assassination began. King was assassinated because he spoke out against the Vietnam War, which, by the way, was a war about rubber trees. In case you didn't know.
Yes.
Firestone and Goodrich,
Yes.
two Jewish companies, that went into Vietnam and started making claims of rubber trees. Because that's their business. They make tires.
Right.
Rubber. And so they had made these claims and then started a war to go in there and take over the country so that they can then take control of the rubber trees. President Kennedy was assassinated. He wasn't black, but he wasn't playing ball, or he didn't go along with, because he was a rich white man that could not be controlled by the money and power of the position the president offered. He didn't need the power. He was already powerful because he had billions of dollars. His family was rich. His name meant something. Malcolm X was assassinated because he was about to bring the United States government up on charges for war crimes and racial crimes in the United Nations. So they had to eliminate him. All three of these men were killed because they began to expose the dirt of this nation to the public. But now, after all that happened, blacks were given concessions. Oh, we got this. I know the Nation of Islam. Yeah, and you know that Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, he was a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody
Yeah.
knows. Yeah.
He went to
Black Panther Party, yeah, definitely.
jail for it.
Now look at this. They started, after they killed off all our leaders, then they flooded our communities with drug and these kind of advertisements, geared towards blacks. That it's cool, Johnny Walker Red, you be glad you said it.
Yeah.
Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
Promoting this to us as a way of getting us into this habit of using alcohol and drugs to null the pain. So concessions were given to us after our leaders was killed, and we were allowed to integrate into white America all of a sudden After King was assassinated, we could go to their schools. We can eat in their restaurants now. They act as if we won. You know, they made us to believe we were successful. We were victorious. The civil rights movement was a victory. But in all actuality, brothers and sisters, we were being suckered in.
Yes.
Because while we were breaking our necks to go sleep in a white man's hotel and motel, our hotels and motels closed down.
Right.
While we were breaking our neck to eat in his restaurant, our restaurants were closing down.
Right.
Look at these other advertisements. If you're having a party, that's a call for Budweiser. Open house.
Oh, wow.
Now, this guy here was, and I'm only putting him up there because I wanted to show you all the pattern. How every time they do something to black folks and we get upset, they give you a pacifier. You know, almost like you do a baby. When they be hollering, you give them a piece of candy or a little sucker. Give them something to suck on, and then they quiet down as long as the sucker lasts. You know, well, here's the sucker. This is a black man he was the first mayor of Louisiana. This is in 1868. Now, this is not too long after the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, after King was killed in 1968, now is that a coincidence?
Interesting. 100 years.
In 1968, this woman was made the first black woman elected to Congress. Y'all don't see this? Y'all don't see this?
Yes.
Shirley Chisholm. Congresswoman. And so we were proud then. We were made to think we were making advances. So King didn't die for nothing.
Yes.
We were made to believe that. Our leaders no longer were present to speak for us. Drugs and alcohol began to run wild in our communities. Alcohol and cigarette ads and commercials began to run more frequently, and the black family came under attack. The black woman was introduced to a new philosophy based upon female equality by white women who were members of the female liberation movement. This movement preached a philosophy that encouraged women to fight for their rights to be equal to their men. This is the face, Phyllis Schlafly. Schlafly. I don't know, I keep saying Schlafly. This is her. This is the culprit that initiated this movement that, believe it or not, it didn't have nothing to do with black people. White women and white men were at odds with each other. Now, I'm not saying that black people didn't have their challenges, but black women weren't trying to be black men. It's 1 o'clock. They were trying to be men. Excuse me. They were fighting against what the Equal Rights Amendment. They wanted it ratified.
Yes.
And you see what year it was. 1978. 77, I'm sorry. Then here we come. Well, let me finish a little bit more of this. I'm on page 40. Clerical household jobs became available to black women, and they also were given equal opportunity to compete with their men in the workplace, causing him to become unemployed. See, now we were talking Wednesday, and the fact that, if you all remember, and if you weren't around, Chicago used to be engulfed with factories. Factories. And that's where black men were employed. We were working in the factories, making decent money to take care of take care of their families. I wouldn't back then. But to take care of the family. And then, at this point in time in history, all of a sudden the factories closed down. And they shipped all of that labor overseas. So that means the black man was out of a job now. And as soon as that happened, then all of a sudden clerical jobs started opening up. Housekeeping jobs started opening up. So I guess the black man was supposed to put his apron on and go mop some floors and wash some clothes. But it opened up for his woman to replace him. This is by design. We were talking about this again Wednesday, that we can't get into this war of gender. That is not our fight. It is not, we have never been involved in this madness. But we're being drawn into it in order to divide us and to make us powerless. Remember what I said, that, or even what the scriptures say, a house divided against itself can't stand. So if you have now an unemployed man or a husband, and the wife is now employed, in all actuality, there shouldn't be a problem, should it? There shouldn't be a problem at all. Because who cares who makes the money? As long as the family is taken care of and the family structure is in place. What do I mean by the family structure? The man is the head of the household. The woman is the helpmeet. She supports her man. And they raise their children. They. Now, what this flip does, it begins to redefine what head of household or what the leader of the family is. It begins to define leadership as who makes more money. Whoever makes the most money now is the head honcho. I know when I was growing up in the streets, whoever could knock the Negro out, he was the leader. If you could beat everybody up, you was the leader. And it had nothing to do with whether you had brains or sense or anything. But just as long as you was powerful enough or strong enough to defeat everybody else in your atmosphere. But the black woman was no longer at home raising the children. She at work now.
That's right.
And as the mother before them, because they now have to work long hours along with her husband and or boyfriend just to make ends meet. So it even got to a point to where economics had got so bad that it took two incomes. Y'all thought that's just what's happening now, don't you? It took two incomes to make it. But then, again, the man was laid off. The woman was more or less carrying the load. And the children are now left at home to raise themselves. Now, you have not brothers and sisters, look. I know what this subject matter it sounds a lot like a history class. But there's a reason why I'm doing this. Or why I'm being led to do this, I should say. Because, again, if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. And at this point right now, We cannot afford to not be together at this time. We're in the year 2013, and this is the year where everything changes. Now, change is, again, it's up to us. If you sit on your behind and don't do nothing, change might not be that good for you. You have the ability, and we have the ability, to direct change. And as it stands right now, somebody else is directing it for us. If you look at society, everything is going homosexual. Everything. Homosexual, bisexual. I'm going to do a little skipping because I'm going to just jump to the meat of this thing. It started with unisex. Y'all remember that, unisex?
Yeah.
And they use athletes. Y'all know who that is, don't you? Reggie Bush. They use athletes in order to make dressing like a female okay. Oh, he's an athlete. It must be okay. As if we don't have gay athletes. One just came out not too long ago.
Came out last week. Last week, you have the basketball player, 12 years.
What?
They pop comedy ring too.
That's, now, in the Temple of Mercy Association, this is a non-item. You cannot be a member of this movement and wear that garbage.
What is that?
Spandex. Speedos, biker pants. Whatever. You know, I mean, bikers wear these for racing. But somebody made it a fashion statement now. Where you wear these out to the club even. Look, she in the club. Let me change this real quick. After 3 seconds, y'all take a picture. Look at this. Equality. See, this is where the world is taking us. Where the woman, she can wear a shirt and tie, just like the man. It's okay. And some of us believe that's okay. See, what you're not understanding is, it's not that it's not okay for the woman because she's covered, her arms is covered, and hopefully if she stood up, her knees would be covered. It's not saying that she's not dressed decently. We're saying that the image, understand God made us in an image. And we are fighting against image makers. They create images for us. They change your image into whatever image they want you to fit for the movie that they are creating. Whatever scene they are developing. As an illusionist, they have to have actors in order to play the role, and that actor has to have the image that fits the role. So, here we have it. No, that's not even a she, see? These are professional football players.
And those are the white man's clothes. Those are the white man's clothes. The Irish and the Scottish.
Let me read a little more. Now, we understand that when you're in a, what is called a broken home, where the father's been either put out, because, you know, at some point in time, there were laws that began to be created. Domestic violence laws. You know, because you had a shift going on in the family. anybody has any questions, please raise your hands. Just let me know, because I want you to be able to understand what I'm saying here. There was a shift going on in the family. And to help you to understand it even clearer, imagine this. You have been on the job, let's say, as an accountant. Let's just say you're an accountant. You've been on the job as an accountant for over 10 years. No, 20 years, let's say. Then all of a sudden, they bring a person in, just got out of college, and they bring them into your department, and they tell you that you have to train this person, and that person's going to be your boss. How you feel about that? Not very good, do you? Matter of fact, you'd be kind of pissed off.
That's right. Yes, sir.
It'd be some, what Eddie Murphy say? It'd be some furniture moving. So imagine in the household where the society now has shifted the power around. And now the female is in power, and the man is in a position of, with all his so-called power and strength, he's in a position now of meaningless worthlessness, nothing. Have no worth. I said it last week. You can't even get the dog to obey. So, just by nature alone, by shifting this, they already expect some confrontation to take place. Just like, and they're doing it again. Now, watch this, because they did it before. You notice how they're doing with the schools, and how they're shutting down certain schools? And they want to take those children in the schools that they shut down, they want to bus them or ship them to another school in another area, right? Right? In another area.
Yeah.
Now, whether we like it or not, there are gang divide lines.
Right.
Okay.
What happens when you have a group of children in one area being bused or shipped into another area that they don't belong in?
Thank you.
What happens?
Conflict.
It's gonna be one, ain't it?
Shooting or something, yeah.
Right.
Something gonna happen.
Now, did those children create that for themselves? Or did somebody else create it? Knowing that the violence is going to come out of it.
Right.
And then, see, this is what Minister Raheem has always been telling us to be mindful of, the man that throws the rock and hide his hand. You see? And then they come in with their police uniform acting like they're the savior.
Thank you.
When they created the problem.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
See, this is the same thing that's going on today, brothers and sisters. They created the problem by forcing black men to be unemployed by shipping factory jobs overseas. Knowing that black men didn't have any other avenue of employment. What we gonna do? The only way we were employed is that they employed us. We didn't employ ourselves. So if they decide not to employ you, and they decide to employ your wife or your girlfriend, then automatically that creates a shift in power, which causes some boundary lines to be crossed, which causes chaos, confusion, and force. And then they come in with their domestic violence laws. To what? Lock you up.
Right.
So you have to understand what this is really all about. They don't want no more Dr. Kings. They don't want no more Malcolm X's. They don't want no more Kwame Toure's. They don't want no more Marcus Garvey's. And they know the formula that was producing Marcus Garvey's and Malcolm X's was the black family.
That's
Yes,
correct.
sir.
They don't want no Jesus crisis born to no black folks no more.
No.
So they have to destroy the avenue by which that is produced, which is male and female together, family.
Right.
And the children suffer because of this. So now, if you notice, for those who came in late, we're kind of going on a little history journey. We started in the 60s. And we went through the feminist liberation movement and showed how that movement shifted everything around to where women were in position of power. And you even notice that they started even to make the cars different.
Yes.
A Cadillac don't look like a Cadillac no more.
It's cute now.
Yeah, it's cute. My point is that a pink Cadillac. You know, come on now. Now everybody know that's the brother Scott Cadillac. We all know that. And to make a pink Cadillac is a slap in the brother's face. I'm sorry.
Mary Kay. Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, yeah, that's right.
Mary Kay.
But look, you have to understand what I'm saying here. I'm saying all of this is by design. It's a master plan. And the design is to make sure that you, black man, never stand up again. Never. And that your sons and your sons' sons never stand up. So, our public school system, even then, was set up to train our children to be workers, not employers. The young black female are taught by their mothers that they need a proper education in order to be in the best position to demand and even compete for high-paying jobs.
Right.
Young females are given incentives to finish school with honors. If she can, but if not, with very good grades. This opens the door to enter into the work world once the high school diploma is earned. See, the system that we live in, they set it up in a way to where if you are not broken by their slave brainwashing school system. See, the school system teaches us to be a slave. And so if you go along with the system, and you go in there and you study and you learn it the way they teach it, and they give it to you, and your motivation for getting it is because I want to be successful, like my mama's sisters. My mama got a good job. She's a manager, at J.C. Penney, or she works as a secretary for a high exec to some Fortune 500 corporation. I want to be successful like my mother. And my mother told me all I have to do is get a good education, get good grades, graduate with honors, and I'll have that opportunity, and the world will be my oyster. I can basically demand what I want. Now, for young black men, where's your example in the house? The mother and the daughter, they're doing hair, nails. go shopping, either you go with them and get turned out. I'm gonna just say it anyway. Or you end up in the street. In the streets. And that's usually where we end up. No examples in the house of what? There's no example of achievement. We don't even have an uncle achieving nothing. And if we do, he don't want no parts of you. Now, what is my point here? The whole system is set up to destroy you, brother. To destroy you. It's set up to destroy the black family as a whole. Now, for those who follow me, I'm on page 41. Because the young black male likes, like his sister, are put into school, but that part that is missing is the incentive and the example for the black male of success and achievement that mother sets for her daughter. He has no male example in the home to pattern after. So he drops out of school altogether, which closes the door for him to be able to get a job. Because you know they don't hire you for no job unless you have a high school diploma. So now that that door is closed for him to get a job, he ends up working at some low-paying job like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, White Castles.
Now they require 2 years of college.
That requires 2 years of college now?
It don't.
Man, they tightening up the reins now. You can't even get a low-paying job. So it's just showing you. Because mind you, brothers and sisters, that the alternative to working in the workforce or the system of slavery, that employment system that they have created, the alternative to that, they created that too. Knowing that if you are not going to be a slave on the plantation, then you'll be a slave in the street. Either way, they are the pimps. So they created the drug system.
Right.
And because usually if a brother does get a McDonald's job or a Wendy's job, he don't hold it long because he don't have any discipline.
Right.
He wasn't taught any discipline. He don't listen to his mama. Mama can't hardly do nothing with him. Because I hate to say it, only a man can make a man. That's real talk. It's not racist, they ain't gender, nothing. Only a man can make a man. A woman can make a woman. And a man can make a man. So when they removed the man out of the household, they automatically knew that that boy would never rise or grow to become a man. He would become something that looks like a man, but not the real deal. Now, because he didn't have any discipline or training at home, he can't keep the job. Whether it's because of him not being on time, his attitude, because you know most of the supervisors or the managers are women. And every woman that he sees is a reflection of his mother. So if him and his mother are at odds, whether it's because she's on his case because he's a constant reminder of his no good trifling daddy, you look just like that no good nigga. Then, in reverse, when he goes out into the workforce or tries to go into the workforce, he sees these women telling him what to do like his mama. She can't tell him what to do, and neither can men. He can't learn nothing in school because most of the teachers are females. Y'all don't see the trap here? But it ain't on black women. I'm talking about the white man that's hiding his hand behind all this.
Right.
That's manipulating this. The young black man must now become responsible. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a part. As years go on, he grows older and begins to date. His date's mother never likes him for their daughter because he has not done the things that society states one must do to be recognized as a responsible male in society. See, now society begins to define what a responsible male is. Not God, even though God created him. But society now says what makes you a good man. And you know what society says make you a good man? Get you a good education. Means let me brainwash you, nigga. Get you a good one, a good brainwashing. Let me then employ you. That means that I control you. You know that's what employ means. Control. I control life and death for you. Because we all live check to check. If they cut the check off, done. Stick a fork in you. If you don't control that, remember what I was saying about politicians? If you don't sign these politicians' check, that they don't work for you,
Right.
who signs your check? And what if they decide to stop signing it? What you gonna do? You see, these are the things we don't really look at because we think we live in a nice, cute, sweet, fair society. And that you know, we believe the hype when they say that all you have to do is work hard and put in the time and be fair and be truthful and be honest and you'll get ahead in life. We believe that mess. We believe that when you vote, your vote counts. We believe that. But all the time, none of that crap matters. Look, I'm in a situation right now. I'm at I'm the parent council president at this elementary school. And the principal is retiring. And they went out and got all these candidates, right? And they narrowed the candidacy down to 2 individuals. And they called the parents in, you know, and me being the parent council president, they come to me and say, yeah, get all the parents. We want the parents to come in and interview these 2 people. And we want y'all to give us your opinion as to who you want for the principal over your children. So we interviewed these 2 candidates. One was a brother, the other one was a sister. Everybody loved the brother. I mean, everybody. And the guy had his stuff together. Now, later on I find out, now, mind you that the school I'm referring to is the Shabazz school. Y'all know Betty Shabazz? The charter school, right? They have 2 elementary schools. I'm at the one out here on 69th and Hermitage. Mind you, now, I found out that the sister that had interviewed comes from the Shabazz system. She's a graduate of the Shabazz system. So now that made me think, you know, because during her interview, she was saying things like, well, when I become principal, I'm going to do this.
Claim it.
You know, I at first I took it as, you know, you just claiming it, and there wasn't nothing wrong with that, you know. But then when I found out that she was a part of the system,
Family.
that right,
Selection.
they won't, I'm sure, like anybody else. Because if you, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, I'm sorry. When you're running a corrupt system, you don't want no outsider coming in peeping your corruption.
Correct.
You want to keep the dirt in-house. And so they don't want this guy, even though he's the best candidate and the most qualified for the position. I believe they're trying to slide this sister in, which means that that whole interview session was a farce. It didn't mean anything. You know, oh yes, your input counts. That's what they tell us. See, when you're dealing with liars and criminals and thieves, you can't believe what comes out of their mouth.
Right.
In this society we live in, are criminals.
That's correct.
They steal for a living.
Teacher. Yeah, teacher.
And we believe when the criminal creates a news broadcasting system and tells you that they can't lie, that everything that they say has to be true, we believe it. What is wrong with us?
Automatic.
Even the weatherman be lying.
It's gonna rain all weekend.
And you run out with your umbrella. Or he said it's going to be sunny and bright, and you get drenched. These people don't tell us the truth. This is why we have to create our own.
Teacher.
And if you don't create your own, you're going to be forced to, because this is where we're coming to right now.
Come on, bro.
He's going to force you to teach your own children again. Now, some of us may say, man, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you have been programmed to think like a white man, when he leaves you to teach your children, how you going to teach them? Like a white man. This is why the mind has to be reprogrammed. Our minds have to be reprogrammed because we think like they do. We've been taught to think like they do. Since birth, that's all we know. They define who and what you are. If you are a kind, loving, compassionate brother, caring brother, they say you homosexual. Something's wrong with you. Who gave them the right to say compassion? Is Jesus homosexual? Who gives them the right to define for you and me who we are? Now, we got this young black man who's now dating. He can't keep a job. He likes girls. They like him. The mothers don't like him because he doesn't have a steady paying job and he on the bus. But we know what happens. As nature presents itself, the girl becomes pregnant. And that's when everything changes. The young man must now become responsible for the life he has conceived. Although he has never been taught to be responsible, he is now afraid of being seen in the eyes of his girlfriend as being inadequate, like his father. You know, because I'm sure that's all he had been hearing. Yo, no good daddy, that bum, that nigga, that MFer. Y'all know how it goes. That's all he been hearing. And he don't want to be that. If this, I'm sorry. I missed my spot. All right, like his father. So he seeks advice from his friends. His family he has found outside of the home. If this has happened to one of his friends already, he has a script that has been mapped out for him to follow as a solution to his challenge. You know, well, it goes on to say it here. He asked his girlfriend a question. How do you know it's mine? That's the main question. Denial. He asked this question because he needs an avenue in order to escape the fact that he's feeling inadequate. I don't have the ability to take care of no family. He wasn't even thinking about family when he laid down with the sister. See, we don't think about these things. It's just a surprise. So the young black females are taught by their mothers at a young age that she must depend on herself and not to depend on any man to do for her. She enforces that you have to do for yourself because every time men will let you down. Now, the second generation of independent black women are being born. The feminist movement is still alive and strong, but a new twist is beginning to show its head. Y'all know this brother, right?
Oh, my
See, again, this is still dealing with this unisex fashion. You know, where blue jeans and a t-shirt is really the daily fashion.
What's up?
Whereas I remember I never in my life seen my mom in blue jeans. Never. She always wore what they call it, a sundress. Always. But we call that old-fashioned today. But you could tell the difference between a man and a woman walking down the street. If you was walking behind a person, you could tell it was a man or it was a woman. Is this a woman or a man?
That's Kate.
That's a man. Man can't tell like a woman, me. Yes, sir.
That's old girl.
Like section. Like a woman to me.
That's KK.
That's a woman.
That's KK.
No, right.
We don't know. See, this is the confusion that is being created. Now, Minister Raheem, I believe, on the third,
Yeah.
the third Sunday
This month.
of this month, is going to be teaching on homosexuality.
May 19th.
And believe it or not, it's not what you think it is.
Come on.
It's not. Not at all. But we have to speak on this. You know, it's almost like, can you imagine telling the story of slavery and leaving white people out? Can you imagine the Jews telling the story about Nazi Germany and what they went through in the Holocaust and leave the Germans out? It can't be done. We are living in a society that is perpetuating homosexuality and they're defining homosexuality. But what you have to understand is that, look, my brother is a homosexual,
Right.
a cross-dresser. He dresses, well, he used to, too old now. But he used to, what they call it? Female impersonator. He was a female impersonator. You know. Now, that's my brother. I love my brother. I don't have a personal thing against homosexuals. That's not my thing. But I do have a problem with people lying to us and making us to believe that a dog is a cat or a house is a garage. And all they have to do is change the definition of it and we go along with it. You see, what they call homosexual is not homosexual. And this is what you have to understand. I gave you an example earlier of if you are a kind person and you love brotherhood, let's say, you love the brotherhood. I use Jesus as an example, perfect example. Jesus loved his disciples. They were brothers, men. He loved them. He cared for them like he would his children. He had compassion. He had love for them. If the definition of homosexuality is to love or having love or feelings of affection for the opposite sex, then everybody that cares for another human being that's the same sex, you have to now fight to act as if I don't love you, I don't care for you. I can't, we have to hug like this. In order to be not labeled by a label that somebody else created.
Yes, sir.
In order to not be made to believe that you are something that's not good, because they put a title on it. You see what I'm saying? And then we are being made. Well, I'm not going to tell the lecture. I'm going to let Minister Raheem do that. But I want you to understand that it is not what you think.
Right.
Minister Raheem teaches us that this is something that we acquire, that we, based on the defining of it, we grew into it. Now, my brother, because I talk to my brother all the time, and I always ask him questions, and he told me that he always had feelings for guys, but he just didn't know what it was. But then somebody began to define that feeling for him. Somebody began to tell him that what he was feeling was a homosexual feeling. He may have had a friend. I don't know if it was a friend or not. But somebody defined that for him. And if he believes it, then you act upon what you believe. If you think it to be true, then it is. But if we look at this, everything that we are dealing with today is based upon manipulation in order to get us in a certain mindset, to keep us out of a certain mindset. And because we don't have any power, we don't have any unity, we don't have any togetherness, we continuously find ourselves in a position of being manipulated. Now, I raised the question to you today. Everything I said today, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I ask this question. We have been living in a world that has been defining and redefining everything under the sun. And I was always taught that if you continue to do the same things over and over again, you get the same results. It's the same thing as far as thought. If you keep thinking the same way, then you're going to act the same way. Now, we are living in a time of change. That's my opinion too, right? Even though the number 13 represents change, transformation. This is 2013. And so we are now in a position where we can change everything about our condition, everything. But we can't do it with the same mindset, accepting the same definitions for things that are not true. We have to be re-taught. This is why in the Temple of Mercy Association we say that that one of our missions is to retrain and re-educate our youth and our young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors. We say that simply because we know that we are in a position right now in order to do that. Now, the basic family unit, we're talking about family, is comprised of a man, a woman, and the offsprings or adopted children. The extended family can include relatives by blood or marriage, such as grandparents, nieces, nephews, cousins, aunts, and uncles. I'm on page 45. One of the primary principles of the family unit is that it involves a commitment or ordained by God to the lifetime of the members. Meaning that once you get married, divorce is not an option. Although, it says here, divorce is sought and granted much too easily in our society, the Bible tells us that God hates divorce. And this is the scripture that supports that. If you want to jot that down. Ephesians 5:22-26 provides the guidelines for husbands and wives in a family. See, this is again why I say the Bible and the scriptures, will help us in any situation that we have in our life. Did I put this Bible right here? Beautiful. Let's read this real quick. Ephesians 5:22. Oh, this is like my Bible.
No, that's mine. It is exactly like yours.
Yeah, it's like that. This is like my Bible. Dark. Anybody got it yet? Ephesians 5:22. Oh, place. Yeah. I'm in the wrong spot. I think these pages kind of sticking together. 5:22? Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands, and as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. And he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, 26, right? Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wife be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wife, even as Christ also loved the church, and gave himself for it, that he might sacrifice and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Now, that all sounds real good, but what if the man crazy as hell? Is the woman supposed to follow him in his madness? Again, this is why the attack is geared towards the men. Because if you can be made inadequate in the eyes of your woman, then they are justified in becoming head of the household. Because it's also stated that in the absence of the man, a woman will step up. In the absence. So she's justified in taking care of the family. Now, I asked this question on Wednesday night. I'm going to ask it again tonight. Today, I should say. If I was, okay, just hypothetically, if I was in a relationship, well, no, I'm going to take me out. If you were in a relationship with a brother, and that brother is a good man, loves God, I'm not going to say goes to church every Sunday, because that don't mean you're a good person.
Thank you.
Because you go to church.
Thank you.
But has morals, scruples, conscience. When I mean conscious, I don't mean just being conscious, or has a conscience, whereas if he even thought to do something wrong, it bothers him. If you had a man like that, an honest man, a caring man, a forgiving man, but he was an unemployed man, could that man, or would that man, under what we just read today, be considered the head of the household? In the class Wednesday, the answer was no.
No, don't
Not
pay bills.
if.
The answer was no.
Wow.
Personality don't pay bills.
You know what the song said? They have music to support this. I can do bad by myself.
Yes.
I don't need no help to starve to death. Y'all know the song?
Yes.
Yeah. It supports all of that. You know? And because we think like that,
Come on.
we cannot break this gang-banging mentality that's been created for us.
Teacher.
You know, the brothers, we all get together in the barbershop and talk about sisters. Sisters get together in the beauty shop and talk about brothers. You know. And we got this little gang-banging mentality. And the thing is that because society says whoever make the most money, how do you say that? If you pay the piper or something. Yeah. Right. Whoever paid the piper requested soon.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have to get out of that mentality. Because, believe it or not, and I say this a lot to sisters, because I know a lot of sisters, I know, and they be like, man, I need a good man. I'm looking for a good man. I'm like, there's plenty of them out here. You know, I would consider everybody in this room a good man. I would consider. But based on this world, if you ain't got a car, if you ain't got a job, if you can't financially support, wow. I got another question for y'all. Just came to me. Let's say, well, sisters, let's say this. That you're in love with a man, and he has a job, but he don't make that much money. He has a 1-bedroom apartment. No, scratch that. Studio apartment. With a little kitchenette, TV that sits on the crate, not even a flat screen, and a fan in the window. I'm just kidding, for real. But you're in love with this brother, and you all want to get married. Now you work for the post office. and you make a pretty nice money, a piece of change, where do you live? Do you move with him or do he move with you? I can tell you what happens in this society. The black man moves with her. Is it because her place is better than your place? She makes more money than you? Or it's because the standard of living that the white man has provided for her, you cannot maintain? Think about what I'm saying. Remember what I said earlier. The white man provides or decides who gets jobs. And if he says he don't want black women to be working, believe me, want another black woman on the planet working. Because he controls them. You might be mad and you start fussing, but that'll happen. Just ask the black men. So, if he has created the atmosphere by which you have become accustomed to, because I even asked my wife the same question. Because when I met her, I was working at Cigna Healthcare, so I was making nice money. Matter of fact, I met her there. So we both were making decent money, And so that wasn't really the case when we got married. But in a situation, if that's all I had, and if you love me for who I am, then what's wrong with my studio apartment? What's wrong with it is that, again, we have been formed and shaped to accept this certain kind of lifestyle. And if the brother can't match that lifestyle, or better, or do better, then whether you are a good person or not, you don't match up. Now, sisters, that makes black men feel like dating white women. Man, this is a quiet class. Y'all are quiet today. White women. Because a white woman will go in the gutter with a black man. Now, I don't like white women. I'm not saying I've never had one in my life. But I know a lot of people that have. But it's not because they're so good. Not at all. And then you look at the quality of the white woman, you'll find out. I believe what Khaled calls them.
Come on.
So they'll go anywhere. But my point is that if we can't get out of this, I need to have my flat screen, air conditioned environment and understand that struggle is just that. Struggle. We struggle together. And then usually when two people come together, it's not really about, it shouldn't be about money. It never should be about money. It should be about love. That's what it's supposed to be about. But it never is. It's either about sex. That's usually the first thing. Or it's about finances. You got money, I got money. Let's put our money together, we'll be rich. We can have some stuff. God never said nothing like that in this definition, in this relationship between man and woman. He didn't say nothing about money. It's nothing. Because it's not important. But it's only important to the white man that makes it important to you. So, Fathers are instructed to bring up their children in the training and instructions of the Lord. It's 2:00. Yeah, that's my phone. It goes off every hour. Uh-oh. I know that drives y'all crazy. It don't bother me. A father is also to provide for his family. Now, mind you this. The guy that I talked about with the studio apartment, he eats every day. He has a roof over his head. Clothes are clean. Does he not deserve to have a relationship that is not manipulated by money? It says here, so a man who makes no effort to provide for his family cannot rightly call himself a man. Now the challenge with that is that the definition or the criteria of providing for has been given to us by somebody else. So to provide for your family means that if you can't afford, I don't know what the going rate today is. Is it $250, $350, depends on the amount of children?
Yeah, based on the children.
I'm talking about,
Welfare?
yeah.
Well, I don't know, I think after so many kids, they cut you off.
You said, for what, bro?
I'm talking about as far as, usually, if you have a child and you're not with the mother, and they have you paying child support.
Oh, yeah, child.
It's based on your income, a certain percentage or something like that, of your income.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I have to ask this question. Who then decides what that percentage should be? And then when they decide what the percentage is, on what basis of lifestyle do they expect the child to live based on that amount? Are you understanding what I'm saying? It's like, if the child was living with me, they would eat what I eat. Right? So if what I eat is, let's say, me being a vegetarian, if I have a dinner of stir-fried vegetables with broccoli, a baked potato, a salad, you see what I'm saying, and a veggie steaklet. You know, that's a good meal. Boy.
Yeah. Go be your restaurant, bro.
Yes, sir. Then my child would be eating that as well.
Yes.
Now, do they then calculate how much that meal cost? I mean, are you understanding what I'm saying? They begin to define how much money you will pay based on your income, and if it's 10%, if it's 20% or whatever, I don't know what the percentage is. Then you give up this amount to them, and they provide, food stamps for the mother. Isn't that how it works? I don't know. Y'all got to help me out because I don't know nothing about that.
You give them, say you give them $50 a week, whatever, $50 every 2 weeks. They send it to public aid will send you the food stuff for the child, food stuff for
And then they get a medical card and all that kind of stuff, right?
the card, and the whole 9 yards.
Right. Now, sisters then that's such a good word. Capitalize that into a hustle. You know what I'm saying? Whereas there are sisters, young girls now, trying to get pregnant just so they can get a check.
That's true. That's true.
But they flipping the script on that now. You know that, right? They cutting all that out. Like I believe now, the only people that can get a medical card is the children now. All the adults have been cut off. No medical, no.
No, they just revived us.
You're not under
Oh, did they?
public
Yeah.
aid. You can still get it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that.
You gotta know.
'Cause I sure heard that. Say it again.
You just gotta know what's there. They just came out with Obamacare.
They had two different kinds. My sister-in-law was just telling me yesterday. I don't know if you like get into it, but she has 3 children, and there's Medicare, and then there's some kind of HMO plan that they have now. So if you switch to one, she was able to keep one of the children, 2 of the children on the Medicare, but her and the other baby has to go on this HMO plan. And the HMO plan, you still get bills, so it's not free like it used to be.
Oh, it's not free.
The other 2.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look more into that then.
You
Because,
gotta be
But they cut
aware.
my mama off.
yeah, okay. So now they're cutting older people off.
They cut older people off. I think it's the age.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, again, it's like when we're dealing. You see, this is why it's so important for us to have our own. Because when you playing ball on the court with somebody else's ball, when they decide to go home, game over. Ain't that how it rolls? And we playing in somebody else's court with their balls. That didn't sound right, but y'all know what I mean.
Michael Jordan.
We playing on somebody else's terms, you know. And and if you notice, whenever we begin to, how can I say, learn the rules of the game and get used to it and start being creative in the game,
They revived.
they change the rules.
Right.
They flip the script on you. Because it's not about you being successful. Never.
Right.
If you figure out a way, like black folks, we done figured out how to get over on the IRS. I hope ain't none of y'all doing it because this is on tape. So don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
The liars.
The IRS, yes.
Yeah, liars.
Where, you know, when you file taxes, you just get your niece, your nephew, and everybody. And you just pay them, and you know, I give you $250. You know, let me file Junebug on my taxes. Oh, is it 1,000? You gotta pay 1,000?
Yeah, 2 kids, 1,000 apiece.
Man, I don't know what you been doing to, bro.
For the park district.
Yeah. Well, see, now I told y'all gonna say nothing. I'm gonna have to edit that part out.
No, everybody.
But my point is that, you know, they now, just based on, wait a minute, hold on, this is my train of thought. Hold on.
Random
Pay that cut.
Oh, yeah, IRS, right. They, because we found a way to get around, you know, their little stipulations, and we found a way to benefit from it. You know, now they crack down on it.
Right.
You know, and they change the rules, and they add rules, and they make laws, and everything, not just because they don't do it themselves, but it's because you doing it.
Right.
Loose cigarettes,
Yes.
just like policy. They do not ever want us to get anything that economically we can take advantage of and become economically stable for ourselves. And they helping us do it. Loose cigarettes, well, again, policy was a thing that they flipped into the lottery. When we were doing it in the early 60s, 50s and 60s,
Right.
they said it was illegal. But when they did it,
It's a lottery.
it's legal.
What y'all was doing?
Policy.
Policy, it's called policy.
Policy, yes.
It was the same as law.
Yeah. We would go around, yeah, they had a policy guy. He'd go around and you say, hey, what's your number?
What's your name?
And he writes your number down, and if your number hit, you get paid.
That's right.
You know, just like the lottery.
They had these drawings that you could not see, and like, you know, I can't do nothing to my mom, no way.
Yeah.
You know, because black people did play it, and they had the numbers on this long piece of paper. It was like a little card called a drawing. And these were the numbers that was drawn. And if your numbers hit, then you was paid your just like lottery.
Right.
And it was like, you know, a 3-number thing that they had, as far as I can remember, because I was a little girl.
Yes.
But we had to fold it up and put it in our shoes and in our socks. We couldn't, you know, because little girls wore dresses, we didn't have pockets. But we had to put it in our shoes and in our socks because it could not be seen by the police.
Right, because it was illegal.
You couldn't walk down.
John Ross, you want to chime in on that?
Depression, black people in New York and in Chicago were prosperous. But what messed us up, we began to showboat. While everybody was living in shacks, we were driving new cars. And the young syndicate saw it, went to the Godfather. He said, this policy thing, he saw that in a nickel and dime. He said, this is how much they made last year. So then they came up and warred against the people. The twin brothers who formed it, they escaped into Mexico. The others tried to fight it. Harlem Nights talked about it.
Yeah, the movie,
You know,
yeah.
and they killed the guys that tried to fight against them. Then the government outlawed it, studied it, and then brought it back to the lottery. The same thing with our music. They outlawed black music when I was a child. Because black entertainers would come south, but we weren't allowed to see our own entertainers. And people like Little Richard, when they come in, the white kids would call them niggas, say, perform for us niggas. But then he started singing Good Golly, Miss Wallet, all of a sudden their bodies would jerk. They couldn't say nigga no more. So then their parents got on TV and said, this Negro music is full of demons. When our children hear it, cause their bodies to move uncontrollably. And they say things that are not, we said it's a demon music. But Elvis Presley saved it. When black people taught Elvis and gave him, black woman wrote the song, what was it, Hound Dog? And he jumped up and they gave him the means to dance. They didn't want him with us then. So they told a lie and said that he said the only thing we could do was shine his shoes and buy his records. Ed Sullivan banned him for so many years, then they let him back on. But when they decided, they took all our music, they bought up everything they could, went to the football field, piled up a mountain.
Yeah, I remember that.
And said,
Yeah.
we're getting ready to destroy this Negro music.
Yeah.
This is what made Motown rich, actually.
Yeah.
So when they did this, when Elvis came out, they said, okay, we're not going to outlaw this music, we're going to give it a new name. We're going to call it rock and roll.
Yes, sir.
You know, so yeah.
But see, again, it's the same thing that they even doing with these loose squares thing. It's illegal. But believe me, they finna come out with loose squares.
Yeah, yes, they are.
And they're gonna tax it, they're gonna have it in a nice little cellophane wrapper for you and everything, and it's gonna be legal.
Right.
You know, but we find little creative ways to make little loose change for ourselves, and that stuff begins to catch, like you say, catch the eye of the white man or the syndicate. You know, they be like, hey, these niggas are making too much money.
They finna sell good bud.
Yeah. But, hey, yes, ma'am.
They want to be like us.
Now, my oldest son said that a long time ago. He said, what I need to do is buy a gallon of milk, and all the people who are outside who don't want to go in the house and, you know, fix their babies a bottle, I sell them a bottle of milk. And they don't want to run into the house or they run out of Pampers while they're outside. I will buy a box of Pampers and sell them a pamper. And right now, today, you can go to the store and buy 3 Pampers.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yeah. But see, again, it all comes from our creativity, you know. And so if we continue to try our best to fit inside of their world. You know, Minister Raheem, he explains it like this. Can you imagine yourself being 6'7", and you have to live in a world that's 5'9"? So you got to walk around like this all day long. While everybody else who's 5, 8, and 7, and 6, they walking around normally and they cool, you all bent up. Meaning that you don't have the advantage that God is giving you because you can't extend yourself to be able to get the best out of yourself. You have to continue to be bent over. And what they call it, this glass ceiling.
Yes.
We keep bumping our heads against that thing. And what we're saying is, why do you keep staying in this house? Go out the door, because if you go outside of the house, believe me, you can stand up. Anywhere you go other than America, they love you. I'm talking about black people now.
To some extent, not always true.
Well, I know the Africans say they don't like us, but, you
They want
know.
to be like us. They don't like us, but they want to be like us.
belong to the land.
How much brain money you get them?
They
Right?
want what we have.
You say how much braid money. Well, of course they love us. They're coming over here and they manipulate us.
That's
And,
because
and,
they want what we, they come to this country because we built it. So they want what we literally have built.
mhm.
That's what they want.
Well, they'd be surprised what they get. They came over here trying to get it.
And they
Yes, yes, sir, Brother John Ross.
Most of those that are in Africa are imposters. They in turn came in to fill the land after we were taken out. We are the royalty of the land. We're the only one that have the real magic. Everybody else in turn tried. Look at our airplanes. There were 2 ex-slaves who took the plans from some of the tombs in Africa, built the airplanes, were flying around. The white boys said, what are the niggas doing with those things? So these 2 blacks sold them the plans, took 13 engineers, and they built the first planes, and the Wright brothers got the credit.
Wow. I'm not surprised. Because everything, I mean, everything that they have taken credit for, we are the authors and the designers of it.
Have you read the book Ishmael yet?
No, I haven't.
Ishmael is a book, spirituality and mentality, about a gorilla who teaches a white man about how they stole our civilization and what their end is going to be.
A real gorilla.
Yeah, real gorilla.
Really?
It was, you know, when LSD was first synthesized in 1943, the plan was to use LSD to give artificial intelligence to chimpanzees and gorillas.
Right.
Well, this gorilla was trained, learned the language, became highly educated. And this man's daughter was put under the gorilla to be taught. When he died, he left money that he would be taken care of, but the wife didn't like him. She put him out. So with this knowledge, he put an ad in the paper looking for a student. This white boy was about to commit suicide. When he looked at this, he went. He kept wondering about this horrible smell he smelled in this room. He wasn't allowed to see him, talk to him through the door. And he told him, he said, you white people are farmer takers. The people of color are hunter-gatherers. He said, you don't trust God, you farm up land. You take your neighbor's land, and then you put fences around it. He said, a hunter-gatherer waits for nature to give them. Each day, they see what nature set out for them to eat. By doing so, they're healthy.
Right.
You know, so it's a hell of a book. There's 3 of them. One is called Ishmael. You know, a friend of mine who passed on Heru, fantastic brother, turned me on to that book. It is very educational.
I'm going to have to look into that. Ishmael, that's the name of it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to definitely look into that. But we have to begin to create our own realities. This is basically my point. You know, we have to come out of the white man's schools. We got to come out of the white man's jobs. We got to come out of the white man's everything and create for ourselves everything that we need for ourselves. And if we don't do that, we can't continue to cry about the condition that we're in. We're in this condition because we allow ourselves to be in these conditions because we won't do anything for ourselves.
Amen.
And so we have the opportunity. I'm telling you, this is the year.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Obama is the sign that the bottom rail has now risen to the top.
Right.
And he has what? He has 4 more years now. So that means we have 4 more years to chart an independent course for ourselves as black people. Because once Obama is out of office, or whether they kill him, because that's a possibility too. You know, whenever he leaves office, it's over. You can forget it. Opportunity is over. Yes, sir.
Can we as a people, with all the things you said so fantastic, can we as a people begin to campaign to change the 13th Amendment and to get from under the black code?
Well, see, my challenge with that is to hell with the commitment. The 13th Amendment, the Constitution, all of that mess, that's the white man stuff. You see what I'm saying? Why can't we have our own laws, rules, regulations, and things that govern us? You know, I could care less about the 13th Amendment because it's almost like the Moors. You know, the Moors say that the amendments and all of that stuff have nothing to do with blacks because we are actually the owners of America. And they are the visitors, and they are the ones that's supposed to be really the ones that are under our rules and our regulations. But because it's flipped around, why do we have to keep trying to get the white man to amend some amendments so that we can feel like we are making gains? Why can't we say, look, okay, Mr. White Man, that's your amendment for niggas. We quit. I'm going home. Now, the challenge is that we don't have anywhere to go. It's just like with slavery. When they let us go in slavery, we didn't have anywhere to go. But in all actuality, we can go home. And what I mean by home is Africa is the home for black folks. We can go there, and in all actuality, what's his name? Marcus Garvey was hinting that if we had a place of our own, a state of our own, where we can build our own homes, build our own civilization, build our own culture, we would then become a very powerful people. The sign of that was what they call it, Little Italy. Not Little Italy, I'm sorry. Africa. Oklahoma, where black folks had a community where we had our own theaters, we had our own laundromats, our own grocery stores, postal service, airport, everything.
You just didn't have a militia.
They didn't have no army, right, exactly. And because we didn't have no army, the white man came in with his planes and bombed the hell out of it.
Correct.
We got to get the black Masons to be true again, though. They are the ones who were told to stand down. Not the white Masons. When 3,000 Ku Klux Klansmen surrounded and killed 3,000 that night.
Well, see, again, as long as we associate ourselves with this man, we cannot cry and holler and scream because he keep his foot on our neck.
Right.
You keep your neck down there on the ground under his foot instead of just getting up and going on to do for yourself. But we'll have his foot on our neck, and we'll be begging him, please, Mr. White Man, can't you just give me a job? I'll do better. We can't keep living like that. Now, I've already showed you, based upon what we've gone through today, that this whole thing is by design, and we've been manipulated ever since the 60s. They do not ever want to see what happened in the 60s happen again. Never. That was their worst nightmare. They were terrified of King and the Civil Rights Movement, even though they were funding it. They were terrified. And they never want to see a King or a Malcolm X ever come from black people again. I mean, we still have, what's that school that King graduated from? No, the black college. Morehouse, there it is. Morehouse still exists. Where are the graduates? Where are the great minds? Where are they? I'm sure they have graduates every year. That's a black school, isn't it? Where are the graduates? What are they doing?
Atlanta, man, it's amazing. I just came back. I've been there twice in the last couple of years. You go into cities, and you think they're white, they're all black owned. They got one place called Union City, but nothing but car dealers. It's like going to a shopping mall for cars. Everything was new. Black folks were running. I went from neighborhood to neighborhood, there's mansions to mansions. And people who regular salaries got homes that cost $200,000 and $300,000. You know, they're preparing for a summer of good. We're preparing for a summer of hell. We can change that. This thing that we do that's stupid, this marching. If you're a military man, you know that's ignorant. You're only showing the enemy how many more people they can kill. You fortify your neighborhood. You set up a thing where everybody has, when I grew up in the South, everybody had a gun behind the front door. You can't do that now. Kids are not mentally responsible like that anymore. But everybody, I could light a match with my BB gun. You were taught how to shoot guns earlier. You must, and this thing with black on black business, don't think in terms of giving to each other, sell to everybody else. Set up mail order. Mail order can't be taxed. That's why they want to stop it. Get out here, sell to the next neighborhood, the next city, the next state. Let's do these three things. Let's have our own cars, build a sports car, sedan, SUV. Sell them to other states, other countries. Have a cigarette factory made not out of tobacco, out of lead. The Russians developed a leaded cigarettes back in the 60s. Get you high, but no side effects. Make alcohol that in turn will get you buzzed and make you healthy. Everything, and you said, this is our time now.
It
You know,
is.
what we've got to, I'll be quiet, but this is the thing the Lord had put on me. When I just came back from the tragedy, in the midst of tragedy, oftentimes your eyes are open. We are in the process now, and you just said it, the earth is in the process of turning right side up. For black people all over the world, when the sun gets real strong in the summer, turn your forehead up to the sun so that your pineal gland can open up to the sun. There's a sperm in the sun now that's giving us our God self again. Whites and other non-melanated people are building bunkers all over the world underground. But it's great change. The sun is getting ready to give off an energy field. And the radiation is going to be too great for others outside of ourselves. But we must be ready. Only love will allow you to stay. And we've got to get our people to stop eating pork. Pork will not take us to the fifth dimension. What it will do is the worm will come alive inside the people's bodies. We must get away from it. But we can change this. Collectively put our minds together, form a group soul. Like in the Greeks had the Oracle of Delphi. People that are 70 years old and older are our power. Put them together as a force of good to project on one thing at a time. We can stop the enemy. He doesn't want us to develop our spirituality. We are the Kemetic people.
Yes, sir.
We carry the power inside us. We are the man. And our women, the black female, that's why they got it in Scandal and all these crazy movies, because the power is coming to the black female first.
Yes.
The Holy Shekinah. And he wants to be there so he can extract it. But he's putting black women in all these crazy positions, giving us Academy Awards for the stupid stuff, because these are what we call time loops. You travel through time when major events that took place, whether they be real or not, like you were talking about the illusion. We have got to stop, and this thing of making slave movies, it's stupid.
Right.
You know, 500 years ago, we were involuntary slaves. 500 years later, we become voluntary slaves. He uses magic against us. The energy going
Yes, sir.
backwards moves backwards than it does forward, because it hadn't come into existence yet. We now are in a time now, we must look to the heavens, like Earth, Wind, and Fire said, keep your head to the sky. Our forehead right here, we're the only ones who have an active third eye.
Yeah.
Others have calcified.
Calcified, yes, sir.
We're being changed to silica. They in turn will remain carbon. And we're going to vibrate. Anything that doesn't vibrate with us will be destroyed. You know.
You know, I am so glad you said that, you know, because, and that's one of the main reasons why this lecture today seemed like it's real heavy towards sisters. And it's not in a negative way. It's in a positive way, because they are the ones that have to make this change. They are the initiators of it. You know, there's no black man that's going to be able to go to a black woman and say, you need to become submissive to the black man because the black man is back now. God is making a new black man, and you need to be submissive to God's black man now, so that we can get things back the way they were. who then would be, you would say, insane enough to give up a position of authority and power to become what is considered submissive? Who does that?
Who does?
Nobody does that. You wouldn't do that unless the Creator himself came and proved to you without a shadow of a doubt that he was the Creator. Nobody, because see, the white man, he has the authority to make leaders. He has that authority through his wealth and his influence. So if he has decided to make the black woman the leader, and God has decided to make the black man leader, then what black woman who has a $75,000 a year job is going to turn all that down to go with and be with a black man that's making nothing?
You've got to be that have God in your house. Not everybody granted it, the 100% thing.
Oh, that's always, yeah.
But it's always with that.
There's always a few.
It's always with that minority that is going to come up with.
And see, and what you are saying is what I'm addressing, because there are a chosen few that will make that sacrifice and that will speak, because see, the voice of change now is actually a woman. It's not a man. It's a woman that got to preach this, because a man can't start this. I don't know if you all are seeing what I'm saying. Because anything you say to a woman based on anything that I said today is male chauvinistic. Anything. That's exactly what it sounds like. Only a sister can say this and it won't sound chauvinistic.
It's not your opinion again, what is?
Oh yeah, this is just my opinion. It's just my opinion, you know. That's all it is, you know. I don't know if it's truth or not, you know. I just fought it. But look, let me read this last part here. I'm on page 45. It says, women was given to man for the purpose of being her husband, helper, and to bear children. Husband and wife are to remain faithful to one another for a lifetime. This eliminates the cultural view that divorce, living together without being married, and same-sex marriage are acceptable in God's eyes. Sexuality, expressed according to biblical standards, is a beautiful expression of love and commitment. Outside of marriage, it is sin. God declares equality of worth in that all people, men and women, are created in God's image and likeness and are therefore equally valuable in his eyes. See, each and every one of us have value to God. We are equally valuable in his eyesight. There is no such thing as the man is better than the woman, or the woman is better than the man, or the man is 50-50, or 50 and the other woman is 50, and together they make 100. That is crazy. No, you are your own 100, and she is her own 100. And when you come together, your hundreds become one. Not 200. It's still 100.
But it's not 50-50.
No, sir. No, sir.
I agree.
Each one of us have to be our own full person. You can't be a half a person looking for the other half.
Someone significant other than you.
No. You are your own whole significant person. You are you. And they are them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then when you come together, you become one. Working together. And notice he said, it's a lifetime thing.
That's right.
This is why in the Temple of Mercy Association, we have a thing where we ask our members to undergo what is called, what do we call it? Rules of conduct. And we have rules of courtship and dating. We have rules of engagement. We expect our members, if you are dating a sister, we expect that dating to go into an engagement. You know, not I'm dating you this month and I'm dating her next month and another one the next month and another one the next month.
That's right.
No, we don't play that.
That's right.
And believe it or not, in our actuality, and the reason why we do that because in the past there was something in place that allowed for men, that men had to be tried before they could have a woman. And what I mean by that is you had to go through that daddy. You know? And daddy was sitting there, who your people? Where you from? What's your mama name? What's your daddy name? What you doing? What's your goals? What's your plans? What you want with my daughter? You know, if you say, if you can't answer, you can't have no little weak answer, I just want to have fun. You might get shot. And so, but now that's missing today. The sisters got to try to figure it out on their own. Is he a good man? He looked nice. See, sisters didn't have to do that before. His big brother, father, somebody was like, that nigga ain't no good. Stay away from him. They'll tell you.
They'll tell you that.
Who know better than us? We know no good nigga when we see one. You know? So we got to be put back in place for our sisters. So that what? So that our sisters can get good quality men. You see what I'm saying? Not, Minister Raheem calls it a pair of pants. We ain't trying to hook up a pair of pants with our sisters. We want our sisters to get real men. You know, and so we want to see your boyfriend. You tell him, bring your boyfriend to the temple. We'll take him right back there in the office and grill his butt.
They ain't telling the truth.
Y'all saw the movie, what was that movie? Bad Boys. With Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they had dude at the door. Telling you. And that has to be put back in place if we're talking about building family again. You know what I mean? Because what we're building now is nothing but a freak show. You know? I want to sex you up. Do it any way you want to do it. Do it any way you want to. You know? This is the lifestyle we're living. And so, sexuality expressed according to the Bible. Oh, I read that already.
This is the last sentence.
Oh, I didn't read the last sentence. This does not mean, however, that men and women have identical roles in life. Women are more adept at nurturing and caring for the young, while men are better equipped to provide for and protect the family. See, now these are the roles that we are best suited for. It don't mean that a man can't nurture his children, can't feed his children, can't change the children's pampers or anything like that. Or the woman can't take a bat to an intruder and bust him aside his head trying to sneak in the window or whatever. It's not saying that you can't do that. We're saying that we are best suited for these roles. God made us perfect for these roles. Thus, they are equal in status, but each have a different role to play. See, each role is important. And so if you take the woman out of the household and put her in the workforce, or put her in the workplace, then the family structure has been damaged. Just like taking a bunch of bricks out of the foundation of your house. That's what it's equated to. Now your house leaning over, about to fall over, because there's some foundation bricks missing, which is that woman. Children are given two primary responsibilities in the family: to obey their parents and to honor them. Obeying parents is the duty of children. That's what they're supposed to do until they reach adulthood. Now, this madness about my child is my friend, I don't know where that madness came from. They are not your friend. But we are to honor our parents for a lifetime. Once you become grown and get your own family, your only responsibility to your parents is to honor them. Respect them. You do not have to obey them anymore. That's real talk. And when a husband, wife, and children all fulfill this God-appointed role in the family, when they have all committed their lives to attain the Christ consciousness and to submit to his service, then peace and harmony will reign in the home. But if we try to have a good family without the Christ mindset as head, or without adhering to the biblical principles the Lord has lovingly provided for us, we will fail. And this is what is happening. We are failing because we are not operating off of the formula that produces success. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to say, I equally draw. We should respect and honor our parents as adults. We are parents when we're adults, like they're adults. But does that contradict your statement earlier, or is that an exception to the rule?
Which is statement you're talking about?
To, them having them help us with the marriage mates. Like if they say no, this is that, you know what I mean? This is my opinion.
But see, normally how that works. Yeah, I know what you're saying. No, normally how that works is you're not supposed to be married, or you're not supposed to be in a relationship, and you're living outside of your home. I'm speaking of women. I'm talking about women. Women do not leave home unless they are married. They don't leave. 40, 50, if they ain't married, they're at home with their parents. That's how it's supposed to be. They are not supposed to leave that house and go on independent living by themselves, none of that. They're supposed to be at home, so when they meet somebody that they want to marry or think they want to marry, those parents are there to scrutinize that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that once you, because see, we have the concept and understanding that once you reach a certain age, that makes you grown. But it doesn't. There's a responsibility that you over time in your experience in taking care of yourself and paying bills and being responsible, that makes you an adult. You see what I'm saying? If you are not doing that and you are living at home, you still a child. And you still under your parents' rules, you still under their dominion. As long as you in that household, they are your parents. And now that's where the thing where it says that all you have to do is honor your parents. And if once you become an adult or get older, you have to do more than honor them if you're still living in their house. You got to obey now. If they say you better be in this house by 10 o'clock, but mama, I'm 32. Mama don't care. You got to be in the house by 10 o'clock. Or stay outside. That's how that works. You sleep outside. Sleep with your friends. Be with them.
Right.
You know, so we have to understand that this mechanism is not in place. You know, the thing that allows our sisters to be able to select good men. Because our sisters, they more or less select based on emotions and feelings and materialistic stuff. Man, did you see his eyes? He got pretty eyes. Eyes don't have nothing to do with the heart of the mind. You got pretty eyes and be a serial killer. It has nothing to do with it. You want to know what's in here. and what's in here. And a lot of times, guys can perpetrate and play roles on women, but you can't fake a man. You see what I'm saying? When you sit down with a man, you can't come in here with the charming, "Yes, sir, how you doing? My name is John." You be like, "I could care less what your name is. What you want with my daughter? You better tell me something good. And better say it quick, too." You know what I'm saying? You know, that ain't gonna work. Charm, good looks. You got a Rolex on your wrist, I could care less. More or less, I'd be like, "Where you get that Rolex from? You selling drugs, nigga?" You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's how then he can go back to his daughter and say, "No, you don't want that nigga, you're a drug dealer.
Come on.
Leave that nigga alone." You see? And so now you have that buffer in between that allows for the relationships to be more than just a hit and miss thing. You know, long-lasting relationships. And that's what we're looking for. And that's what we want to create in our society. Yes, sir.
My brother who was dating a girl, and he went to his to her dad.
Mhm.
Similar scenario. But my brother, he built with the 5%. So basically, her dad told told him and her, "Well, you shouldn't deal with him because he's a revolutionary." But he had a job too, though. You know what I mean? But he's a revolutionary, and that's what. So they back and forth debating whether or not they should honor that.
Well, again, see,
He had this perception about revolution.
Well, see, we're dealing with illness, sickness, you know, and that's why I'm saying that you have to cure the illness before you can start building.
Right.
What we were saying earlier, you can't build a society and not build the minds of the people.
That's right.
Because see, if the people are sick, I don't care how much you try to build a good family, you're going to have some sick, crazy mess come out of it somewhere. You know, like you were saying, the brother, you know, he probably a good brother and he's looking out for his daughter, but he got some other stuff that he got to overcome. You see what I'm saying? Because it ain't about 5%, it ain't about 2%, it ain't about Nation of Islam, it ain't about Hebrewism, it ain't about Buddhism, it ain't about none of that. It's about, brother, what kind of heart you got, man? You know, do you really love my daughter? You gonna take care of her? Or you gonna treat her like I treat her?
Right. So he wasn't the authority in that case.
He wasn't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But still, that's his job.
Right.
He was doing his job. He might not have been doing it well, but he was doing it. Now, there's a possibility that the brother might not have been for her. You see what I'm saying? So he did the brother a favor.
Right.
But again,
she was ready to take him to her dad. She was like, "Man, I feel good. But, you know, my dad was there for me, so I appreciate that you respect that." And they draw, and he said, "Obviously, you deal with the 5%. We can't draw with him. You're a revolutionary. This man ain't good for you. I know the path revolutionary go. I've been there, done that. With you, knew and all that." I'm like, "Dang, both. What is saying authority?"
but you know, to keep it real, you know, revolutionaries need to kind of stay single.
That was his
No, you
perception,
need
too.
to, for real. If you're gonna be a real revolutionary,
That was his perception too. I mean, 5%. He ain't no revolutionary. That's what he called him. He got knowledge and he went through different schools of thought.
Right, I got you. He was, okay, I see what you're saying, yeah.
That was his perception.
But a true revolutionary, man, because if you out there fighting, you know, the good fight and everything, you on the battlefield, you know, like the Black Panther Party or whatever, you know, 5%ers, whoever. You know, if you out there, you can't add a woman to that equation, you know, because you put her in danger. Seriously, because they'll use her to get you.
Right. If they know.
Yeah. They gonna know, brother. That's their business to know.
They gonna know.
Of course
Dr.
it
King
is.
had a dream, but that's because Coretta Scott can't let him sleep.
I've heard that before. I've heard that. But we have to create the black family again. And I'm finna shut up and sit down. But we need to create the black family again. Husband, wife, children.
I agree.
And the formula, we have to put the formula back in place that creates gods.
Come on.
We create them. The formula is mapped out, is laid out, is right there. All it needs is for us to implement it in order to produce a Dr. King again. How come we can't like I said, we ain't making nobody. We ain't got no leaders. Nobody. The closest thing is Farrakhan.
And you and Minister Wayne.
Brother, we messengers.
Okay.
We
man,
messengers.
We respect y'all, man. Everywhere I go, you know, a lot of people have a lot of deep respect and appreciation for you. I was on the bus yesterday. My brother was like, yeah, he was naming all y'all last name. He know me. He was named Will. He was like, I know Kill. I know Amari. I know Wilson. Man, you know what I mean? So y'all out here, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't really consider myself a leader. I consider myself just a messenger and a warner.
In your humility, that's good. We appreciate you.
I just try to stay out of the way, my own way, man. You know, because you can get caught up in this mess, you know. And I ain't trying to get caught up, because I can hurt myself getting caught up in this. You know, I think that's why God made me a musician first.
Nice.
I went through the lights and the glamour and, you know, and the women stuff, you know, throwing panties at you all on stage and all that stuff. I went through all that stuff. I ain't looking for that. I don't need that. You see what I'm saying? The drugs, the alcohol, all of that. I've been through that. I'm on something else, you know. And so I thank God for that. But I definitely...
that's why we admire you.
Thank you. Which all praises due to the Creator. I want us to know that the power is in that unity. All we have to do is put it together, man. Remember I showed you earlier in the civil rights movement, them sisters was with them?
Oh, yeah.
They wasn't sitting at home.
Thank you.
Oh,
They was right there. That's why it was so powerful.
right.
We have to get that unity together. The white man has separated us. We have to put it back together. And sisters, you have to be the one that preach this. So, I thank you all for listening. I leave you as I greeted you in the ancient but yet holy words of peace, which are Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Peace. And for those who may have came in late and didn't have an opportunity to bless the donation basket, Sister Cheryl is holding that for all of those who desire to do such. And if you can't, that's fine as well, you know, because we know a lot of people had the desire to, but couldn't or can't for whatever reason. That's cool. You know, I just wanted to recognize my guest, my brother. Did you let everybody know your name? Yes, sir. Michael Smith. How you enjoy the class, sir? Thank you. And you, did you come with somebody, your guest? Oh, Angela. Wait a minute. You weren't here Wednesday, were you?
No.
Okay. Angela, girl, she bringing everybody. Well, I'm glad you came, sir. I mean, again, we'll be here Wednesdays. I don't know what your schedule looks like on Wednesday, but Wednesdays are more of an interactive thing, you know. And on Wednesdays, I don't teach. I just ask questions, and everybody else be teaching. I be with my pen and paper. I be learning too, you know. I ask a lot of questions, you know, because that's how you learn. You know, you ask questions. So I'm glad you came, and our doors are always open for you. Give them a nice round of applause. John Rod, you know you're not a guest. John Rod family. I don't know, for those who may not know John Rod, he's been with us 30 years almost, if not more.
31.
You know, and he comes in and he checks on us just to make sure we still on point. You know, and he puts us on point when we be off, you know. So I thank God for John Rod. So please give him a nice round of applause. Did you want to say something, bro? Brother Michael.
And he in turn has been seeking knowledge.
Okay.
You know, but I love this. I mean, the unity that we have and brothers coming back together.
Yes, sir.
And we as a people must not allow them to put us in a situation. Chicago is a model for the new police state. That's it right here. And they want to put us in a trap called FEMA.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember or not, when Colonel North was on the Contra trial.
Oh.
CIA had the dummy airline. He said, they asked me, he said, what is your job? He said, mine is to head up the oppression of people in third world countries. He said that's a foreign part of FEMA. Along with FEMA being the emergency so and so, it's also a law. Under FEMA, it states that if a race becomes lawless to the point that other races are afraid of them, then Congress can declare them a threat to national security, and the president can override Congress and take the civil rights away from the whole race and can put in prison as many as 20 million at one time. The new stock market now is black prison.
Yes, sir, say that.
The private industry was commissioned by the government to build 300 prisons. In turn, now they leased it over to the government. The President of the United States bought a prison last year in southern Illinois called the Thompson Correctional Center for $237 million. When they asked him what was the purpose, he said half of it would be for the Guantanamo Bay prisoners. He said, well, what about the other side? He said, that's for private business. Obamacare states that if you don't have any insurance and you don't get it, you can go to prison. As well as once you get Obamacare, you must take the microchip out of the skin. When you get a chance, go online, look up Obamacare microchip. It's called a transponder, meaning that it can receive and send once it's inside.
So again, brothers and sisters, man, you know, we got to, if we don't do for ourselves within these next 4 years, you know, it's over. We can get the chip, you know, we'll have the mark of the beast and all of that. You know, we already got that. Y'all know what the mark of the beast is? Y'all don't know what it is, do you? I got one in my pocket. The mark of the beast. Without it, you won't be able to buy or sell. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Barcode on your driver's license. They slowly transferring it over. Before you know it, everything is going to be this. Now, actually, the barcode is going to be inside. It's going to be that thing they're injecting to you.
Right.
Where you won't even need none of this thing. You just scan your arm, your hand or whatever. And your barcode will be in there and you'll be able to buy and sell. And they say you had the mark of the beast in your hand.
You know, a $100 bill has a tracking device in it. Within in your pocket, they can tell everything that's on you.
That's
Connect
the,
directly to the stuff there.
yeah.
Because there was a guy, he was running from the police and he kept saying, you know, how did they know? Where did they know to come get me from? I said, do you have a driver's license? He said, no. I said, do you have a state ID? He said, yeah. I said, pull it out. I said, now, if the police looking for you again, put it on the alley dog.
I mean, that stuff we see on TV, that's old.
Right.
I mean, you watch the little cop shows and all the CSI and all, that's old. They got so much sophisticated stuff now, man. You know, that ain't nothing. You know, how they track people down. Your cell phone, you think on TV, they say, take your battery out. No. Please, no.
This is good market notice. We 45.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Michael Smith.
No, my brother.
Michael Russell.
Oh, two Michaels. That's dangerous there, boy. We need one more.
My middle name is Solomon. My first name is Mike.
No, we 3 mics, huh?
My name Michael L.
Oh, Lord, here we go. All the Michaels coming up in here, huh?
You better get it.
That's the angel.
Yeah, the Archangel, Michael.
That's correct.
Yes. Wow.
It's that white.
No, that's the warrior.
Today, the date of today is 23.
What you mean?
It adds up to 23.
It adds up to 23? Michael Jordan. Maybe that's why all the Michaels are here today.
He on my feet.
Huh?
Tell us people didn't report to their names. And they told, I was told, all Michaels was bad. And I could go to school and watch them. They were bad as all get out.
Oh, Michaels? Yes, sir.
I went to, the minister called me yesterday and asked me to go with him to a forum.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of leaders there speaking about getting the black family together, buying black and making clean jobs and helping the homeless people.
Right.
Making homes and stuff and apartments for them. to live in.
Right.
It got into a riot.
When they dude and
They
them
fought
people
and argued. Didn't they mess over there? It was a hot mess.
Cassius started another
That
riot.
minister
Oh,
said-
Cassius did it?
Yeah, Cassius came in there because the guy said,
What cat?
Minister Ryan, why you over there? You ain't in command. We ain't make no command to
the
command.
guy said,
Oh,
let
okay.
let him speak. The mic was in the front. I said, put him in the back. You have one in the front, one in the back. I shouldn't have to walk back there to talk. The guy got up and told me,
Brandon came.
he
He came.
Cassius Clay said, man, we don't hear that shit.
Oh.
He went off. He went off. The minister
Okay.
was going back and forth. The fight, the argument all night.
Okay, I'll hear some more about it after we close out, but,
Well, I found out Michael's are bad in what they do.
oh, are they? Yeah, well,
They raw in what they do.
Sure. Appreciate it. We got it like that.
Melissa, you're not a guest, sweetheart.
I guess she official.
She official. You came here 3 times.
You went your 3.
You're not a guest. And I remembered your name, so you know you're not a guest now. That's everybody. We got everybody covered. Ramadan still in
Yeah. He not lazy.
All right. Are there any questions? Anybody have any questions or any comments before we close out? Is that a question, Polo?
Hey, brother.
Is that a question? You have any questions or comments before we close? Nope? Okay. Well, let us all rise for our closing prayer. All right, let us bow our heads and open our hearts. Feel the presence of the Creator all around us and all within us. In the name of the everlasting Father, He that causes all that exists to exist, He that is self-existent. Father God, we thank you, Father, for blessing us with your word on this afternoon. We thank you for allowing all those that came in today, Father, to hear your word. We thank you for all of the warriors, Father, that came in this afternoon, Father. And thank you for all the warriorettes. Is that a word, Father? If that's okay, because Jesse can make up words, I can too.
Yeah.
So, Father God, we thank you for all those that are here and all those that had a desire to be here, Father, for whatever reason couldn't make it. We thank you for our leader, teaching guide, Minister Raheem Kaset-Aten. And we just ask, Heavenly Father, that you continue to endow us with your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding, your patience, and your endurance as we continue to embark upon this journey called life. Father God, fortify us, encourage us, Father, strengthen us, Father, that we may stand up as men and women, Father, assisting one another in life's endeavors, Father. We love you, but we know you loved us first. And as we leave this place, but not your presence, we ask that you continue to fortify us and protect us from all hurt, harm, and danger, seen and unseen, even self-inflicted, Father. And we just ask that you allow us to reach our destinations in safety, in peace, and in harmony. And we pray all these things in the name of your Son, Yahshua, the Black Messiah. And in his name we pray. Amen and peace. Amen. God bless you all. Yes, ma'am.